I never thought that one night could change the way I looked at love, loyalty, and the people closest to me. It all started on an ordinary Friday evening. I came home from work exhausted, my head filled with numbers and unfinished reports. But when I opened the door to my apartment, I felt something was wrong. The lights were dim, and there was music playing softly from the living room. Normally, that would be a good sign. My girlfriend, Emma, loved to surprise me. But that night, the atmosphere felt heavy, almost suffocating. I called out her name, but she didn't answer. Instead, I heard faint laughter, like she was trying to hold it back. My stomach twisted. Slowly, I walked toward the sound, and that's when I saw it. Emma sitting on the couch, her phone in her hands, smiling at the screen in a way she hadn't smiled at me in weeks. I froze. It wasn't just a casual text exchange. I knew that look, intense, playful, almost glowing. The way someone looks when they're falling in love. But it wasn't with me. "Who's making you smile like that?" I asked, my voice calm but firm. She jumped, locking her phone instantly. "Oh, it's just Sophie," she replied quickly, avoiding my eyes. But her tone betrayed her. I had been with Emma for 3 years, and I could read her like a book. She was lying. The next few days were torture. I couldn't stop replaying that moment in my head. I noticed her pulling away even more, coming home late, keeping her phone face down on the table, walking into another room to take calls. I wanted to believe it was all in my head, but deep down, I knew the truth. One evening, when she went to take a shower, I did something I never thought I would do. I picked up her phone. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. She had never changed the password. It felt wrong, but I needed answers. What I found shattered me. Messages. Dozens of them. From someone named Daniel. The texts weren't just friendly. They were intimate, full of inside jokes, late-night confessions, and things she used to say only to me. One message burned into my mind. "Last night was unforgettable. I can still feel you." My chest tightened, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. The woman I thought I knew, the one I planned a future with, was already living a secret life behind my back. I sat there in silence, phone in hand, my entire world collapsing. I didn't even hear the shower turn off until Emma stepped into the room, wrapped in a towel, her smile fading the second she saw the phone in my hand. "Who's Daniel?" I asked, my voice breaking, not from anger, but from pain. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her face went pale, and in that moment, the truth was written all over her expression. That was the night everything changed. Emma stood frozen, her towel clutched tightly around her, as if it could shield her from the truth. Her lips trembled, and for a moment I thought she might deny everything. But then her shoulders slumped, and she let out a shaky breath. "Daniel is just a friend," she whispered, but even she didn't believe her own words. "A friend?" I repeated, holding up the phone with the messages glowing on the screen. "Friends don't write this. Friends don't spend the night together." Tears filled her eyes, but they weren't the tears of someone who was sorry. They were the tears of someone who had been caught. She sat down on the edge of the bed, her head in her hands, while I stood there, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it echo in my ears. "Please," she finally said, her voice breaking. "It just happened. I didn't mean to hurt you." Didn't mean to hurt me? I wanted to laugh, scream, break something, anything. But instead, I just stared at her. All the memories of us, the trips, the late-night talks, the promises, flashed before my eyes, now tainted by betrayal. "Why him?" I asked quietly. "Why not just tell me if you weren't happy?" She didn't answer. She just looked away silent. And that silence cut deeper than any words could. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch in the living room, staring at nothing, trying to figure out what to do. I loved her. God, I still loved her, but I couldn't ignore what I had seen. By morning, I made a decision. I packed a small bag, just the essentials, and left the apartment without a word. I needed space, time to think. For 2 weeks, I stayed with my friend Mark. I didn't tell him everything, only that Emma and I were going through something. But inside, I was drowning. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her with him. Every time my phone buzzed, I hoped it was her saying she was sorry, that it was a mistake. But deep down, I knew she had already chosen someone else. Then, one night, while scrolling through social media, I saw it. A photo. Emma and Daniel together at a bar we used to go to. She was smiling. The same smile I had seen on her face that night on the couch. My chest burned with anger, but beneath it all was something worse. The realization that I wasn't just losing her. I had already lost her. That was the moment I knew. I couldn't just walk away quietly. I had to know why. And I had to make her face me one last time. The next day, I went back to the apartment. My hand shook as I unlocked the door, unsure of what I would find inside. The place felt different, colder, emptier, as if the warmth we had built together had already vanished. Emma was there, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee. She looked surprised when she saw me, but not guilty. Not even nervous. Just distant. "We need to talk," I said firmly, setting my bag down. She sighed, as if the conversation was an inconvenience. "I thought you were staying with Mark." "I was," I replied. "But I can't live in limbo. I need answers." Emma's eyes flickered, and for the first time, I saw something like hesitation. "What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry? That I regret it?" She shook her head. "I can't. Because I don't." Her words hit me like a blade to the chest. She didn't regret it. She didn't even try to soften the truth. "So all those nights, all those promises, they meant nothing to you?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger. "They meant something," she said quietly. "But things change. People change. Daniel, he makes me feel alive in a way I haven't in years." I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to explode. "And what about me? Was I just a placeholder until something better came along?" Emma looked down, silent. And that silence was all the answer I needed. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The weight of everything hung heavy in the air. Finally, I grabbed my bag and turned to leave. But before I reached the door, Emma's voice stopped me. "You'll find someone better," she said softly. "Someone who loves you the way you deserve." I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. "No, Emma. I already found her. I just didn't realize she was never really mine." I left without looking back, but the story didn't end there. A week later, I got a message. Not from Emma, but from Daniel. And what he told me changed everything I thought I knew about their affair. The message from Daniel appeared late at night. At first, I thought it was some kind of sick joke. His name flashed across my screen, and for a moment, I considered ignoring it. But curiosity and anger won. "We need to talk," the text read. My hands tightened around the phone. What could he possibly want from me? I typed back, "There's nothing to say." Almost immediately, my phone buzzed again. "Trust me. You'll want to hear this." Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him the next day at a small cafe downtown. When I walked in, I spotted him right away. Daniel wasn't what I expected. He wasn't some flashy guy trying to steal someone else's girlfriend. He looked ordinary. Nervous even. "Thanks for coming," he said, standing awkwardly as I sat down. "Cut to the point," I snapped. "Why are you here? Haven't you done enough damage?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, I didn't know she was still with you when it started. She told me you two had broken up months ago." My jaw tightened. That's a lie. We were together until the day I caught her. Daniel looked genuinely shocked. I swear, she said you were just her roommate, that things were over, but she couldn't afford to move out yet. The anger inside me shifted into something colder. So she had lied to him too. Daniel leaned closer, his voice low. Listen, I'm not here to fight. I need you to know, she's not who you think she is. She wasn't just seeing me. His words hit me like ice water. What are you talking about? He pulled out his phone and slid it across the table. Messages. Photos. Names I didn't recognize. My stomach dropped as I scrolled through them. Emma wasn't just cheating with him. There were others. How many? I asked through clenched teeth. At least 3 that I know of, Daniel said quietly. She's been living a double life for months. I pushed the phone back toward him, my mind spinning. The betrayal was deeper than I had imagined. I had been angry at Daniel, but now I realized we were both victims of the same lies. I thought she loved me, I muttered, more to myself than to him. Daniel nodded. So did I. When I left the cafe, the world felt different. Darker. I had gone there expecting closure, but instead, I had uncovered an even bigger wound. And in that moment, I knew one thing. I wasn't just going to walk away broken. Emma had taken too much from me already. It was time she faced the consequences of everything she had done. The decision to meet Emma one last time wasn't easy, but I knew I had to end things on my terms. No more unanswered questions, no more doubts. I needed closure. When she walked into the cafe, she carried herself with the same confidence as always, almost as if she hadn't destroyed everything we had built. She sat across from me, crossed her arms, and gave a small smirk. So, she said casually, did you finally decide you can't live without me? Her arrogance made me laugh, not out of joy, but out of disbelief. Actually, I said calmly, I came here to thank you. She raised an eyebrow. Thank me? For what? For teaching me the truth about you. For showing me that the person I thought I loved never really existed. Her smile wavered. You don't mean that. Oh, I do, I continued. Because I know everything now. Not just about Daniel. About the others, too. For the first time since I had known her, Emma froze. Her confidence cracked like glass. She tried to speak, but her lips only parted in silence. You played with me, I said, leaning closer. You lied to him. You lied to everyone. And maybe you think you've won. But you didn't, because I'm walking away with something you'll never have again, my trust. She looked down, her hands trembling ever so slightly. It was the first time I had seen her without control. I stood up, pushing my chair back slowly. Goodbye, Emma. I hope the lies keep you warm at night. And with that, I walked out. The air outside felt different, lighter, cleaner, like I could finally breathe again. For weeks I had carried the weight of betrayal, but at that moment, I realized something. Losing her wasn't my tragedy. It was my freedom, and as I disappeared into the evening, I promised myself this. Never again would I let someone else define my worth. From now on, my story would be mine alone.